So for those of you who are new tonight, actually I feel like the people that are live tonight for the most part have been to circles before, and perhaps it's actually the people that are going to be catching the replay might be those who are the ones who have not been to a circle before. So what I'll say is this, is circle is always an opportunity for you to show up exactly as you are. For example, tonight, I was like, I'm gonna wear this spicy red dress and put on this lipstick because that feels so right. And for other people, you might be like, I'm gonna come with like my sweatpants that I've been wearing the past 9 days, and it's gonna also feel so right. And I think that that's part of it, is just your intention even behind why you're coming and how you're coming is just meant to be authentic to you and what feels right for you in this moment. And so that's how we'll start the intention of this circle, is that it's safe for all of us just to be who we are. The second thing is that the time of the new moon is a powerful time for you to reflect, for you to connect, and for you to, in particular, gain insight and clarity from your intuition. The interesting thing, however, with this new moon is that it's actually got kind of like some full moon vibes with it, of release and purification. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. So as we flow through tonight, if you haven't been before, just keep an open mind, stay present, and just try and notice too if any sensations arise in your body that feel uncomfortable, and instead of being like, this is so weird, just get curious about them and just try and stay with the feeling. Or if you feel all of a sudden emotional, or if you feel joyful, or whatever the thing is, just stay with whatever, especially right now, especially in our Virgo season, just stay with whatever is happening in your body and don't try and overthink it too much. So the other thing is just make sure that you have a journal, make sure that you have a pen, and if you have a candle, you can light it now. If you have your own goddess cards, you can begin by bringing them close to you now so that you have them afterward. And otherwise, we're going to start, if you have the playlist, I always think the playlist is really important because it really helps with the meditation. I can also copy it too if anyone doesn't have it in this moment. And we'll get the playlist going. All right, so if you go, it's New Moon and Virgo playlist. We'll start it there. Make sure that you're not on shuffle for any reason. I'm actually going to notice my goddess cards are right beside me, so I'm going to grab them for 1 second. And everyone just start to get comfortable where you are for 1 moment. You can see the spicy red dress. Like extra spicy. All right, so we're going to begin then wherever you are by starting to get comfortable. And then in a moment, we're going to start playing the playlist. So take a big breath in and then exhale. And we're going to start with the first song, which is Djembe Drums of Ghana. So we'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The first thing that you're going to do as you sit here, though, eyes open. And I want you to take your hands into little fists, and you're just going to gently start to smack your body wherever you feel called. So whatever you can do, you can just go against your shoulder or against your heart or into your hips. And making this so that this feels gentle, but also so that it feels like you're getting a little bit into your wildness right now. Just noticing if you feel like going a little bit deeper, or if you need a little bit more gentleness and tenderness right now. You're just breaking up stagnant energy in the body. Continuing to release, priming your body to start to purify. Same thing, just noticing if this feels natural for you or feels a little bit weird, and in this moment, just trying to embrace it. Stopping now, and you're just gonna start to tap on your third eye here. So you can take 2 fingers if you want, or you could take 1 finger, and you're just gonna start gently tap in the center of your forehead, activating your own third eye. Closing your eyes and just gently tapping on the center point in between your eyebrows. Gently now bringing it so that it's underneath your right eye, just gently starting to tap underneath your right eye. Closing your eyes again. Letting your breath start to settle in. Gently tapping. Moving now to the point above your lips. Gently tapping just above your lips. Now taking your fingers and just gently tapping on your collarbone. Taking your other hand, also starting to gently tap on your collarbone. Taking a big breath in. And a big exhale. Another big inhale. And then exhale. And now just gently pressing both of your hands onto your chest. Really pressing down into your chest, feeling the weight of your hands resting into your chest. And feeling yourself anchoring. Feeling the weight of your hands, just gently pushing your heart space down. Starting to calm down the nervous system. Starting to calm yourself down. Indicating safety and comfort within yourself and within this moment. Keeping your right hand on your chest, bring your left hand to your upper abdomen. And you can gently rest both now, so you can lift and rest them both back onto your body. Right hand is on your heart, left hand is on your upper abdomen. And gently lift your hands off your body and then placing them back down. Again, gently pulling your hands off your body and then placing them back onto your body. If you just joined, we're just on the second song into the playlist, going into third. Hand on heart, left hand on lower abdomen. Keep your hands on your body right now as we work to anchor in. New moon energies don't want us to go, don't want us to run or figure out. They really just want us to be here. And this Virgo energy really wants us to ground into the safety of our own body, unraveling the minds, and getting out of our thoughts and back in. So we take our first moments here to settle in. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Another big inhale in and out. Last one, inhale and out. Gently bring your hands to rest in your lap. You can open your eyes or keep them closed. Take your right hand. You're just going to slowly start to walk your fingers really gently just up your arm, closing your eyes, but really gently just walking up your arm. When your fingers get to the top of your shoulder, you're going to gently start to walk across your collarbone. And then when you get to the right side of your collarbone, you're going to gently walk it back over across your chest. Back down the left arm. And then you switch. Other side, gently walking your left hand now up your right arm. Again, eyes closed or eyes open, whatever you want. At the top, slowly moving across your collarbone. And then you walk it back. When you come back to center now, just taking your hands and gently just rubbing your arms up and down. Close your eyes. With your eyes still closed, you can also start to gently just walk your fingers across your collarbone again, and then rubbing your arms up and down. Just letting your chest gently rub your arms, gently touch your collarbone, connecting in with the embodiment of your own powerful feminine. Bring your hands down to rest on your lap now. So with your eyes still closed, the energy of this new moon is inviting in release, is inviting in purification, is inviting in renewal. And the autumn equinox coming just around the corner, September 22nd, is starting to usher us to let go. And so setting an intention for yourself right now, for all that needs to be shown to you about what it's time to let go of what it's time to purify, and what you're meant to be embodying more of now. Saying to yourself, I call upon the insights, clarity, and wisdom that I need in this moment to know what to purify, how to purify, what to release, how to release, and what it's time to embody more of. Bring your awareness down back into the body once again, focusing all your awareness in the center of your heart. And like a magnet in your heart, just imagining any parts of yourself that have been fragmented, any parts of your energy that you may have left somewhere consciously or unconsciously, or maybe you've been moving around a lot lately, maybe you've been stuck in your head a lot lately. Calling it all back now. I call back all fractured parts of myself. I call myself back into wholeness. I call any scattered parts of myself that I've left behind back into me now. I call back my wholeness. And if you want, you can imagine these little pieces starting to magnetize back towards you. One by one, filling your heart back up. Your heart becoming a beautiful mosaic of all the places you've ever been. Slowly opening your eyes, coming back into the space. So our Virgo new moon is ushering us to do a big release, a big purification, ultimately so that we can call ourselves into a greater level of wholeness with ourselves. So if you have your cards now, based upon that wisdom and the intention that you just set with your own soul, please show me the guidance of what I need to release, of what I need to purify, and what I'm being called to embody more of. You can now pull a card. I'll also pull a card for the group should you not have your own cards. But just take a moment if you've never really played with cards before. I find that it's helpful just to, you can knock them. Some people really believe in really focusing in on the energy of their cards. But I think it's really the most important for you just to take a breath for a second before you pull. So I'll do it for the group now, but just take a second before you pull and take a breath and really set that intention. Give me the wisdom that I need right now. Might not be what I'm expecting, but it's what I need. And then pull your card. So go ahead now if you have yours, and I'll pull for the group. And then once you have yours, you can share in a moment. I'm going to share first for the group. So the wisdom from the card that we had was Maeve, cycles and rhythms. Honor the cycles of your body, energy levels, and emotions. So the wisdom from this card in the context of the embodiment is that as women, we go through cycles of our energy. And the more that we honor that, and the more that we don't put pressure on ourselves to be producing and doing all the time, the better that we can ultimately feel. So we're going to riff on this a little bit in a moment, but I wanted to know first if anyone wanted to share what their card was that has any insights for them on what they're going to need to be purifying, releasing, or embodying more of. You can either put in the chat, or you could just go like this, and then I can see your little hands, and then we can share. Oh, Kate's got a full spread. Kate, do you want to share what yours are?
Hello. I always pull 3. I don't know why.
Oh, wait, I can't hear you.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Can anyone else hear Kate? Oh, you can. So weird. I can't. Kate, say more.
I pulled compassion. Kuan Yin. Release judgments about yourself and others and focus on the love and light that is within everyone. It's a good one. And then Dana. This is really interesting because I've been mentoring a new hire. So it's all about spiritual teaching, helping others. And then Hathor, which is receptivity, which is nice. So this will increase your intuition energy and the ability to give to others.
Cool. Did you like those cards? Did they resonate for you?
Yeah, I love pulling cards. It always just makes me feel better.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Does anyone else want to share what one of theirs was from the crew down here? Leanne says that she got forgiveness and healing, which is exactly what is needed right now. Right on. We're going to be talking about that tonight. Anyone else want to share theirs? You can put them in the comments, or if I can't see you. All right. So we're going to first start then with the card that we pulled for the group, which was the card about cycles and rhythms. So part of this vibe with the whole new moon in Virgo is that, is everything okay with my audio right now? Yes. Okay, good. Is that Virgo wants us to be embodied, and she wants us to be in our bodies, and she wants us to not be putting ourselves in anything or any type of cycle that's going to stop us from being out of the rhythm with the earth. So part of what we learn in Virgo season, which is interesting because Virgo season happens sort of at the time where the seasons start to change, is that it's a very earth sign. Like the archetype of Virgo is very much the earth mother. And so Virgo brings forward a lot of nurturing vibes, a lot of vibes of self-nurturance, but also nurturance for the collective, and also mothering of ourselves, and then mothering of others. And also then our connection to the great mother of all, which is the earth. And so part of that, aside from thinking of how you might be being called maybe more to nature right now, or how you might be being called to connect with the earth in a deeper way, and whatever that way that looks like for you. One thing that I think is really important for all women to know is that the world was built based on men and their cycles of energy, which is why we typically have 9 to 5 days, because men's energy and the way that their hormones work is that men's energy basically goes through its own cycle each day, and it's in a 24-hour period, which is why they're like, sweet, we're going to have people work 9 to 5. Also, this idea of like working so hard all the time actually came out of the industrial era, when we literally like needed people to be working so hard all the time in the factory to output. And so part of what we're doing in this new paradigm and in this new world, and part of what we can think about now based on that card, is actually unraveling that, to know that it actually, working harder doesn't mean better. Working from an inspired way is the best thing that we can be doing, taking inspired action. But it's also just knowing for ourselves what our own cycles are, and then attuning our lives to those cycles. So instead of men who typically go through this 24-hour cycle of their energy, as women, we go through a 28-day cycle, or whatever your own personal cycle is, if it's 35 days or 40 or 26 or whatever else. So it's knowing based on your own cycle, the 4 different periods, you're going to have different types of energy. So when you're first, when you have your period, you're generally more reflective and you're more tired. When you're in your ovulation stage, that's a time where you have a lot of energy. It's a time for you to like go forward with a lot of projects. When you're in your luteal phase, you tend to be much more tired. Your body tends to be more tender. That's like during your PMS stage. And at the stage right after your period, which is the follicular phase, you tend during that time to have more creative wisdom and insight. So it's sort of like right after your period, your first stage is sort of like you're getting all these downloads now that your energy is clear. Then during your ovulation time, you're on fire to like get all this stuff done. After that, and also to do like more intense sort of workouts or energy clearing. Then after that, when you get into your after that, when you get into your luteal phase, that's when you tend to be more quiet and reflective, and you're getting ready to release for the next cycle. And so what's important for us to know, and one thing that I'll have everyone do now based on this, but not on the call tonight, is for you to actually go through for this upcoming month. And if you know your cycle, if not, there's great apps that can, like I love the Flow app, but there's like great apps that will show you your own cycle, and to actually look on a calendar for the upcoming month, and for you to slot in any big meetings or big actions that you're going to take, and put them so that they're in your ovulation station. So like if you're going on dates, do them then. If you like have big conversations you need to have, do them then, because we're feeling generally more confident. It's also a good time to know that you'll have more energy. So if you want to book more vigorous workouts or things like that during that time, that's a really good time for it. Similarly, for you to know in your luteal phase, which is the phase right before your period, your PMS phase, you're actually, oh yeah, Kate says Clue is a great app too. Yeah, we love apps to track periods, so good. So the other one is in your luteal phase to know that you're gonna be more quiet, you're gonna be more reflective and more tired basically, and to really just honor the cycle of that. So Karen asked, what happens if you're on birth control and that affects your hormone regulation or prevents ovulation? So you can still, even with hormonal birth control, at least as I understood it from being on it, from what my doctor told me, was that you're still, even if you're not getting a period on it, you're still going through the stages of ovulation. It's just you're not actually doing it in the way that makes you release an egg. But you still should, if you start to track it, you would still probably start to notice the dips in your energy. A good way for you to start too might be also, if you can, and you're like, no, I'm just actually steady all the time. It depends on what type of birth control you are. I know at least for the IUD, that's the case, that it'll still take you through dips of energy. And I think other oral birth controls will. So it just sort of depends. But what you want to do now for all of us as well, even outside of our periods, is to look at the new moon and the full moon and base things around that as well. Some of you will find that your periods happen around the time of the full moon. Some of you will find that they happen around the time of the new moon. And just to know based on that what you're meant to be doing during that time. So if you're a full moon person, normally most of us have a lot of energy at the full moon, but if you normally are like getting your period, then you actually probably won't, and you'll be in a much more like maybe emotional or releasing or tender place during that time. So your next thing is just to note for the upcoming month, not only for you to go through and start to plan things around when your own energy is going to be peaking, but also now to go through and just to note that the full moon after this new moon cycle is on October 1st. And just to know for you that you'll probably have more energy generally then, or you'll have more space for clarity to come through. So just after this, to go through and make sure that you've done any big thing that you need to do, sort of, and plan it for that last week in September to move forward with it. There's also this like really fiery Aries energy that's coming at the time of the full moon for this one. And this full moon is actually going to relate to an Aries new moon that we had right at the beginning of when all the shutdowns happened in North America. And so it'll be really a potent time. So part of what this is all doing to say in these activities for you to take away are for you to then know what energy is coming forward this month, and now how can you best use it. Again, because part of the big lesson of Virgo is instead of being like up in higher consciousness and playing with the universe, which is really fun, it's about being really in your body and really honoring the cycles and rhythms of your body. So that being said, we're actually going to take it back into the body now, just to see what's there for you. So start to get comfortable again where you are. And you're going to close your eyes. For those of you again on playlist, it should be around Wake Your Soul now. So take a moment and get really relaxed. Starting to feel your shoulders relax down your spine. Starting to feel your chest fall down toward your spine. Bring your awareness to your feet. Relaxing your feet. Relaxing your feet. Completely relaxing your feet. And bring your awareness now to your calves. Relaxing your calves. Relaxing your calves. Relaxing your calves. Now to your thighs. Relaxing your thighs. Relaxing your thighs. relaxing your thighs, into your stomach, relaxing your stomach, relaxing your stomach, relaxing your stomach, into your heart, relaxing your heart, relaxing your heart, relaxing your heart. Relaxing the throat, relaxing the throat. The throat is relaxed. Relaxing your forehead, relaxing your forehead. The forehead is completely relaxed. Relaxing your whole body, relaxing your whole body. Your whole body is relaxed. Doing a quick scan of your body now, noticing if any parts of your body are still holding on to any tension. And breathing deeply, sending love, sending connection to that part of your body, ushering it to relax a little bit deeper. Imagining yourself now in a beautiful crystal cave. Maybe you see one color of crystal or type of crystal, or maybe you see this whole beautiful array of different crystals around you. As you lay on this beautiful crystal grid, feeling your body start to anchor into the energies of these crystals. And if you can't access that, just imagining yourself laying somewhere on the ground and imagining yourself really anchoring into the core of the earth, or really anchoring into the ground below you. And then imagining those crystal grids and the crystal castle or the ground below you, charging you with all positive energy. And gently taking away from you whatever is ready to be released. With each inhale, you take in new air, new energy. And with each exhale, you give permission for whatever energy has been heavy in you to be released, conscious or unconscious. Another big inhale, you pull in all new energy. And then exhale, you release. Letting go of whatever has been stuck to you, conscious or unconscious. Last one, breathe in all new energy. And exhale, release whatever is no longer serving you, conscious or unconscious. Letting yourself just dwell for a moment in this space of being really anchored and relaxed in your body. Saying to your body, I relax, I release. Again, saying to your body, I relax, I release. Intuitively now, just letting your hands rest somewhere on your body that you know needs a little bit more love or a little bit more attention right now. Just gently resting your hand wherever that place on your body intuitively is. And feeling the warmth of your own hands, your own healing on your body. Remembering your own power as the most powerful self-healer of all. Breathing really deeply now into your hands. And imagining the bottom of your hand really pulling out whatever is stagnant from that energy center on your body, wherever it is. And gently, gently, just coaxing it out. Thinking of the most loving, nurturing part of you. Gently coaxing out this energy like someone would to a child who's scared and under the bed, or to an animal that's found itself lost and is hiding somewhere. With that same gentleness and tenderness, just imagining in the bottom of your hand, whatever energy needs to be released, coming and pooling in the back of your hand there. And keep doing that until you feel complete, until you start to feel this part of your body feel a little bit more open, a little bit more aligned. And whenever that happens, you can just gently place your hand beside your hip with your palms still facing up, whether you're seated or laying down. Taking a few deep inhales and exhales. Imagining now a really, really bright light starting to extend down from the sky. And this beautiful light starts to pass over your head, pass over your eyes, over your face. As it does, it shines a light, beautifully illuminating, clearing, cleansing your whole body. A beautiful, warm, light shower extends over your neck, over your chest, over your stomach, over your hips, over your legs, over your calves, and over your feet. Again, imagining it go from the top of your head down over your feet, filling up your whole body with light, zapping away any negative ions or charges, helping reactivate that wholeness that you called back to yourself before. The fragmented pieces, the pieces that have been lost. From this place of calling back your wholeness, you now activate your own potential, your own power, your own light. Taking a few breaths here just to really imagine this beautiful warm light extending and moving throughout your whole body. With each inhale, you activate this light even more. And with each exhale, you release. Now imagining all of the women on this call right now, and all of the women who will watch this call after, all the women that have gathered in these spaces tonight, all of the women still to come. And imagining now just extending out this energy from the center of your heart to all the other women on the call right now. Feeling this web of connection and support. And then allowing yourself to receive back into your heart support and that same energy. And seeing if you can actually feel into your heart. It can be pretty unbelievable, despite being in different spaces, how energetically we can all connect. So like a wave now, we're going to breathe in. And then exhale, release a bunch of your energy out toward each other. And now on that inhale, like pulling up all that energy like a big wave, pull it back in towards you. And try it again now. Exhale like a big wave going out toward one another. We'll inhale, imagining that energy now coming back towards you. Exhale, release, a big wave of energy goes out. Inhale, you allow it to come back in, allowing yourself to be supported, allowing yourself to be connected, allowing yourself to never feel alone. Exhale, release back out. Inhale, receive it in. Exhale, release. One more time. Breathe it all the way in. And setting an intention for yourself. What's really on your heart right now? What do you wish for yourself? What do you intend for yourself? What would you love to see happen in your life? In this moment, from this place of groundedness, of this place of support, what is your intention? And now, based on that intention, thinking of what an I am statement around it might be. If your intention is to receive support, it might be I am supported. If your intention is to fully purify your system in a bigger way, your intention or I am might be I am purified, I am released. In your last moment here, I want you to bring your hands again to any place on your body you most feel called right now. Maybe it's your stomach, maybe it's your shoulders again, your heart. Asking your body, what do we need to clear? What do you need more of or less of, or what do we need to clear? Letting your body provide you with any images or insight now into what that might be for you. Slowly opening your eyes, coming back into the space. And when you get here, you'll write down what your intention for this new moon is, what your I am statement is, and what your body told you it's time to release or to purify. I'll take them for you too. And once you have yours all done, you can keep writing, of course, but also once you have what your intention is, share it in the comments. I always love reading them. Got lots of you sharing. And it looks like most of you stopped writing. So some of them, Alyssa says, intention, stay connected. I am connected. Alex, to bring my bone happiness back, bring back the girl who loves life. I am happiness. My intention is to be healthy mentally and physical. Hannah. So I am healthy I am healthy mentally and physical. That's your affirmation. Kate, I am prepared. I am ready to share and shift. Christine, I am safe. I am loved. I am embracing and love every part of myself and my journey. Beautiful. Intention, daily self-care. I am loved without conditions. What a beautiful I am statement. I am deserving from Samantha. I am capable. I can fully show up as myself. Yes. Kelsey, I am compassionate toward myself and others. I'm confident. I'm supported. Diana, I am whole. I'm independent and loved. Lots of loved ones, really special, because we're going to circle into that now. And my intention is to bring back the wild woman parts of myself, connecting to spirit and nature. I'm connected to spirit always, similar to Alyssa's intention. Leanne, intention is to release anger and resentment and bring in joy, play, and peace. I am loved. Kendra, I'm worthy of love from myself and from others. Karen, release of self-doubt. I'm supported and loved. Yes to the Wild Woman, reading a book about that. Beautiful. So what I find really special about these is so much theme around loving ourselves first. And part of the shadow side of Virgo, I'm not sure if you know any Virgos in your life, and either way, we all get influenced by all the dynamics, is that Virgos have a tend to overgive. They're such nurturers of the zodiac. And so part of their lesson or part of the karma of people that come in. So I always look at our sun sign as part of the karma of what we're meant to deal with, basically, or the part of like the cards we've been dealt in this lifetime. So what Virgo energy reminds us of is our wholeness. And so what's actually interesting is Virgo, based on the word virgin, actually means a woman unto herself. And so it's actually really beautiful is when we think about this Virgo energy or this virgin energy, it's actually about us consciously coming back into wholeness with ourselves. And so when we're in wholeness with ourselves, we know that we're worthy. We know that we are loved. We know that we are loved. We know that we're deserving and capable of anything that we want. And we know that we can release whatever has stopped us from being there. What's really interesting within that, so it's cool that we all have a lot of themes around being loved and being in wholeness, and that's what comes through. But part of what's really interesting with our same cycle themes is to know that it is so normal to get hooked into parts of ourselves that we wish weren't there, like parts that get frustrated or parts that get judgy or parts that get angry, or our mindsets. And part of the purification that's being asked of us right now is to being shown where in our life, basically, we're getting triggered in some way, knowing that it's coming up to be healed and purified. So there was sort of like two aspects of this purification theme that's coming through for people. The first part was around like our physical bodies. I think for a lot of people, or just our mindset or our connection to spirit, like it sounded like a lot of you had kind of themes around those too as well, just really rooting into your practices, really rooting into your connection to yourself and to others and to your spirituality. And then a lot of people also are feeling called right now to purify their physical bodies in different ways too. Like I've got very called to do this like detox cleanse I believe our body knows how to detox, but you can do things to support your body in doing that process. So I personally have been like very called to do that with this new moon. Similarly, though, there's this theme that's emerging for people that I see of coming back into just noticing where we've gotten out of alignment and then coming back into wholeness. So with that same cycle theme, for those of you who feel like you've gone off course, just remembering that Virgo season, and just with the energy of September too, it's always like back to school vibes. So it's very much about like, all right, I've been off path, cool, choose again, and I'm going to come back into alignment today and know that today this is what I choose. I choose for myself for this next moon cycle, what I'm going to commit to is, and maybe for you, it's what I'm going to commit to is based on whatever your intention was, like one or two specific things. So that's what we're going to next do. So thinking of whatever your intention is that you just came up with, and now you have your affirmation as well. You're just going to write out for this moon cycle. So it's this new moon that then we'll go to the next new moon that's going to be on October 16th. You're just going to write out what I'm committed to is, and just write out one or two really small things. So even if yours was, you know, when it comes to worthiness, maybe it's that you every day are writing something about yourself that makes you worthy of the things, like I'm worthy because of this. Or if you are feeling like you want to be more authentic, maybe it's that you start to share more about your interests with your coworkers. So just writing out whatever comes to mind right now, one or two things. This moon cycle, what I'm really committed to doing is one or two things. So just have your one to two things. And then just whenever you're done, I can see just if you, for those of you who want, if you look up, then I can kind of gauge where when people have got theirs. All right, it looks like everyone's almost done. So you've got your two things. So now you have your new moon intention, you have your I am statement, and you have your one to two things. The next thing is just seeing if there was anything from that meditation that your body told you that you needed to release more of or purify. Again, there's a real theme right now of our bodies giving us a lot of messages, also coming back into wholeness, but also because we're in this very like earthy, grounded period. And so for you, it might just be like you're feeling much more called to go to the woods, or it might be like me, you're feeling called to do this like digestive cleanse, or it might be that you're feeling called to do more yoga, or maybe you've been doing a lot of yoga and now all of a sudden you're like, I just want to do walks and that's all I want to do. So I just want you to think of whatever came through from that meditation of what physically your body is calling you to do right now. Again, because Virgo, very earth sign, very grounded, and also just because there's such intense energy happening right now. And I think we all just need to like be in our bodies. So from a practical perspective, that's also where we're running at. So just thinking, what is the one thing that your body's really calling you to purify or release or do right now? And also write that down as one of your commitments. And then if anyone wants to share, if anyone want to share verbally what one of the things their body's really calling for right now. Sometimes in these new moon vibes, people are like so zipped, but if not, you can share in the comments. I love new moons are so funny. For those of you who haven't been to Circle before, the rest of you know because I talk about this every time because it never surprises me. And yet every time I'm like, so who wants to talk? Everyone's like, nope. But that's a good example of new moon energy. It's like very, very except for Kate. Kate's on a different cycle. So she's like feeling it. But most people during the new moon tend to be very zipped. Our energy is quieter. And so that's cool, but it's just interesting versus that full moon circle. People even on Zoom are more like, yeah, let's get chatting. Doesn't matter either way because I love to chat. So this is, in your guide, you're chatting with yourself in your journal, which is really all that matters. That's the whole point of these things. Okay, so Vanessa does say though, I'm feeling very drawn to light workouts and light eating. Okay, that's very cool. So interestingly, usually at a time where we're being called to lighter eating and lighter workouts, it's because our body is energetically trying to purify some things. Other times we tend to go through periods where if we're craving like more intense, vigorous stuff, we'll also similarly crave really grounding foods. So it's just something to just notice again with these cycles and rhythms of our bodies. Alex needs to calm the F down, the overachiever in you, and just rest your body. Yeah, a lot of us, I think, get into, at least I definitely go into like, I've had to learn a lot because I would just be like a psycho and go to spin class every day and then totally burn out. And then that would be my pattern. Like I was too extreme. And so learning how to have these cycles and managing sort of your physical fitness around your own cycles or the moon cycles can be really helpful. Leanne needs a lot of rest as well and grounding back into the body. Be more intentional and focused with my day and get off social media during the evening. Preach to that. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that one too. Kate says that her body is super held, so she's being called to release, let my muscles relax, stretch, and breathe. Yeah, like today's Medi too. That's what I felt very called to share with everyone tonight. Like just like getting our bodies and just seeing just imagining that crystal cave or whatever, or having crystals on your body and letting your body knows what to do. And so as long as we're surrendering to that, the body will balance us out. Oh yay. See, everyone's like lit up in the comments. That's all I had to do. No one's like, screw this chatting, but chats on chats in the comments. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Okay, yes to body being held. Kendra also, yoga, stillness, and softness. My new cozy fall blanket. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of cozy, non-doing stillness vibes that are coming through for people, that is like when we're in that vibe, it means that our body's craving more of the feminine energy of non-doing, of stillness and fluidity. Yeah, so and is being called to Pilates and low impact strength workouts and a nutritional bean protocol, which is hormonally balancing and grounding. Oh, very cool. Carrie also, body being asked to slow down, rest, and look inward. Sarah, though, being called to stand up tall and straight. So very in your power. Christine, more yoga and moving energy through my body. Lots of intense workouts, lady, and my body needs to chill for sure. Feeling called to do more intense energies and get the energy flowing. So Yvonne's in the opposite. And Kate's going to get back into the cave. And then Alyssa, eating more vegetables and moving fluidly. Vanessa also wants to add in more spiritual practice daily again. And Kelsey, oh, interesting, to rid myself of clutter and unnecessary belonging. Diana, exactly with the body detox, like yoga, being more consistent with that routine and release of more of my shadow perspective. Yeah, so darkness that's coming up, thoughts. That's the next thing we're going to talk about before we finish out for tonight. So what's really neat is it sounds like a lot of people, Kelsey had another implementation of it. A lot of people are being called to purge right now too in terms of their spaces and decluttering. So Virgo is known as like the organizer too of the zodiac. So for some people, that's how it's manifesting. It's not manifesting in their physical body, but they're like, I just need to purge my space. I also just like purge my entire apartment. I'm also getting rid of it, but I was very much like in that vibe as well. So is Vanessa. So some of us are this energy that's coming forward is coming forward in that way. So just noticing in that, if it's coming forward in your space, if it's coming forward in your email inbox, if it's coming forward with old projects, if it's coming forward with just needing to clear out your phone, maybe from ex romances that you don't need in there anymore. Or maybe it's, holding on to photos in your phone. So part of what we're just planting the seed of is looking just in our physical environment, which first starts in our body, but then also what's around us, what's in our phone, what's on our computer, just any places, especially tomorrow is technically when the biggest part of our new moon is. So just in this next week, as we're in the full moon period and then the shadow period after it, knowing where you're being called right now to release clutter in your space, releasing clutter in your phone and in your electronics, releasing clutter in also your body with anything physical. It's really interesting for all of you that are being very called for more gentle movements, and just know it's always a balance in your body, and to remember to check in with your body about what she actually wants right now. Again, it might be helpful for some of you that are really feeling called to more fluid movements and gentle movements right now, to also see, based on that homework from the beginning of looking at your cycle, if it's maybe connecting with when your cycle is, because typically we'll want to connect in a more fluid way when our body's craving more of the feminine energy, which is typically around sort of like the luteal phase, or sometimes it's just your body needs more of that in general, versus like Yvonne, who's like, no, my body wants me to purr, like, like move energy through. And so sometimes that happens as well. So just to trust that cycles as you continue forward with this. The last thing that we're going to talk about in terms of this cleansing and releasing so that we can come into wholeness, remembering that the reason why we're cleansing and purifying and releasing, again, is this idea of wholeness. So in the spiritual practice, there is always a purification element of it. From purification comes illumination, and illumination leads to wisdom. And that's like this cycle, this sort of trifecta. So Ram Dass, who's one of my favorite spiritual teachers, teaches a lot about this. And I think that it's not often taught when, and maybe some of you are just more like personal growth junkies, but really when we talk about true spiritual practice, there's always an element of purification, which then is followed by illumination, which means seeing things in a different way, or having a greater connection to your intuition, or seeing things flow more fluidly for you, which then, it's like you might do a purification and then all of a sudden you actually notice things like synchronistically boom, boom, boom happening in your life. And then you really start to believe that you're supported by the universe. Then from there comes that wisdom of having actually experienced it. And we go through this cycle all the time. And so just to trust that at certain points in your spiritual journey outside of this period of time where we're being asked to cultivate more of this intention around purification, just knowing that those three tenets are so important, and to trust whichever one's coming up for you. But at times at purification, it means that your soul is ready to go deeper. It means that more magic is ultimately on the other side for you. But it just means that sometimes that's actually your biggest work. Sometimes your work when you're in this purification period, it can feel harder sometimes to meditate. It can feel harder to journal. It can feel harder to do the practices that normally like make you feel most connected. And so, and just like feeling that, okay, like, yeah, a lot of you are feeling that. Yeah, for sure. So totally normal. Oh yes, Kelsey's also been struggling with meditating. So just know that sometimes when that's happening, it's just because you're still on path, but it's just because you're in a period where your soul wants you to be purified. And the purification process can be done through meditating, of course. Like one of the ways is that we purify our thoughts, meaning that we stop our mind from being so busy. We learn how to be really present and everything else. Sometimes it is a purification of our physical body that is actually being asked of us, because the more that we empty out energetically what's sticky or heavy in us, the more that then we have greater access to clarity and to our intuition and to whatever the next level of consciousness for you is. So to know then your job actually isn't to focus on the mental aspect, it's to really focus in on the physical body. So really doubling down on whatever wisdom your body's been giving you of what she needs right now. A lot of you, it sounds like it's actually rest, and it's actually more fluid movements. So to know that, and if you keep doing that and if you follow that, it will eventually get you to a place where that clarity does come back. And then from that clarity, I guarantee it, because I know this, is that then you'll have a new level of intuitive ability, a new level of wisdom, a new clarity about your life, or it's just that things will come to you more quickly. So you'll notice that your manifestations, like you have the thought, I would love this to happen. And then it happens much more quickly for you, or opportunities flow to you in an even more magical or synchronistic way for you. on the other end of that, remember, is the wisdom piece, because then you've now experienced a whole new level of what it means to feel so loved, or to feel so connected, or to feel so worthy. And then you have that true wisdom. It's like the embodiment piece. Then your soul will pull you through. So just know that when you're in the purification piece, it's harder to meditate generally. So really trust your body. That's why your body might want you just to sit more, but not meditate, or just rest more, or whatever. Other things you can do are just like get your crystals on, hold on to them, get into nature, put your feet on the ground, drink a lot of water. Yoga is, obviously, it seems like a lot of you are drawn to it, but for those of you who know me, know I like love yoga. So that can be really helpful in just realigning whatever needs to be realigned. And then from there, you'll start to feel that clarity come of the energy recalibrating. Then you'll embody that new energy. More magic will flow to you, or you'll have clarity on what's next. And then from there, you'll have the wisdom to carry that forward into whatever next is on your path. So the last thing that we're focusing on, that's why we focus so much on the physical body at this time, because this Virgo energy is really supporting us in this stage of consciousness right now. The last thing that we're going to talk about before we finish out tonight is on what needs to be purified in your psyche. So we talked about purification of the body, just what's your body calling for more of, how do you come into wholeness, and what needs to be, what do you need to step into more? So I heard a lot of like self-love and things like that. The last part is I want you to think of with this new moon, we also have this Mercury retrograde period, and Mercury is the planet of action. It's like fiery, like, power. It's a really powerful forward energy, but now it's a retrograde planet. So it just means that what's happening for a lot of people is they're feeling agitated about different things, or they're getting triggered by things that they maybe wouldn't have, or the agitation might come from because Mars is the planet of action, just there's been a lot of delays for people in terms of like things that they wanted to happen yesterday are now just not happening right away. And so that's maybe your trigger, like, oh, I wanted this to happen so soon and now it's not. That's annoying. So the last thing that I want you to think about now is, what is something that's been just really driving you crazy that happened in the last week? It could be something small. Like for me, I wanted to share this example because it's small, but it's big too. So there was a person who's a friend of someone in my life, and I've had this thing, it's been like bubbling below the surface, because this person really triggers me, and they just frustrate me because I feel like they're rude and disrespectful, and they're the type of person that whenever you're like, always ignore you, basically pretend like they don't know you. And it just like, so I've seen this person in a few different social situations, and I've been so triggered. And in a way that I was like keeping it cool, trying to be like, yeah, okay. Like I was basically trying to spiritual bypass it, of being like, yeah, no, everything's totally cool here. Everything's totally fine. And then I just lost it this recently, because I'm like, this just drives me frigging crazy. I get so frustrated that she comes in, acts like she, has never met me before, every time fully ignores me. It just feels so rude. It feels really disrespectful. It doesn't make me feel good. And so that's where the trigger came. It was like this small thing. It's really just has to do with this person not acknowledging me. It makes me feel not seen. But it really started in a way that normally it wouldn't have triggered me quite so much. It just did a lot in the last week. So sometimes what happens at the time of the new moon is, it normally in full moon too, well, we get clarity of what needs to be released. So for me, within this, part of it is the release has to do with, firstly, just allowing myself to say what's on my mind. Sometimes the purification comes from just owning, like, as I was saying before, I for months have been like, yeah, no, it totally doesn't bother me at all. Everything is totally cool here. And then all of a sudden, the purification for me is actually using my voice to be like, actually, I feel disrespected. Actually, I feel like not seen, and I feel, like this is rude and it's not okay. And so part of it is using the voice. The second part of it is also just seeing the other part of that trigger too, is just noticing, well, what's getting triggered? Because whenever someone's triggering us, it's a part of ourselves that needs to heal. And so usually it has to do with like, what's the part of me that feels like triggered when I don't feel seen? What's the part of me that needs to feel that acknowledgement? Or also, what's the part of me that also sometimes doesn't make other people feel seen? And where have maybe I done that unconsciously? And where can I look back at those situations now and see where I've maybe made people feel the exact same way that I felt? So that's how we look at, as things come up for us and things trigger us, we look at, is there an action to take here? Number one. Is there something that I need to actively do to deal with this, to use my voice, to stand up for myself, or to take action? Especially right now with Mars, action planet, you might be seeing. So do I have to take action? That's the first thing. And second thing, what is this showing me about myself? And where is this showing me what part of myself needs to be healed or to be forgiven, or what part do I need to forgive the other person too? So those are the two things that I just want you to reflect on now. I'll write the questions below. So just thinking of, what's a situation that's been bothering you in the last week that came up? It could have been small. It could have been like someone in the grocery store who was being really slow, and you're like, could you just freaking hurry up? And then that's your thing. It's like, okay, well, in that situation, was there an action that I could have taken? Maybe my action was that I should have just breathed in that moment. Maybe your action, though, whatever, just think for you. Was there an action to take there? And did I take it? Or is there a different action I could have taken? The second thing is, what did that show me about myself? What needs to be healed? In that impatience one, it would be like, what I need to heal is my, addiction to everything happening in this moment as I think that it needs to be. A lot of us don't trust in that. So these are the first question is, what has triggered me or bothered? So spend about another minute. This is one that once you just notice what the thing is, you can unpack it quite a bit. And then whenever you can continue to unpack this one after, but specifically, I think one of the most helpful ones is looking at, like, what is this about me that's coming up here? Or what is it bringing up in you? Like, for example, I used to get triggered a lot when I had a supervising lawyer when I was a lawyer, and she would like be very critical of my work, and I would get so triggered every time that it would happen. His coworkers triggering my stuff, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Because I'm like, anyway, I just couldn't figure out. I'm like, I just get so annoyed. It's all her fault. This woman's just, she's just not kind. She's too critical. She's too this. She's too that. And then I was like, well, wait a second. Even if she is all those things, what does this actually have to do with me? And part of it was just that criticism made me feel like I didn't belong there. It made me feel like I wasn't smart, like all those things. And then that's what needed to be healed, was ultimately the worthiness piece. So that's why we look at these things. how are we being triggered? Is there an action to take? Yes or no? What is it? And then what does this show me about myself, about what needs to be healed? The beauty of this is that we always get to the gnarly part that we don't always want to see. And my whole job always is to usher everyone to go to that place, because on that place is where the healing is. And that's where the true light comes in. And that's where the true openness and compassion and love. Like, everyone wants the love and the magic, but it's like, we got to look at our gnarly. I used to have a yoga instructor, he called it nar nar, but like, like those really nar pieces are where we've got to look at. And then once we get honest, then we can move forward. So I'm always going to usher you guys to move forward with that. The way that you then move forward to purify it is your journal prompt after this one would be, all right, I noticed that this is the thing. I noticed that this is what's been triggering me. Universe, soul, spirit, whatever resonates for you, help me to shift my perspective on this. Help me to see this with love. Help me. So that is, you'll write that at the end of the message. So, universe. The true miracle, so I just wrote it out there, is actually when you do that prayer. And I can't explain it any other way other than that. When you write, like, the change of perspective will happen for you. The clarity will come of what it is, or how you can perceive it differently, or how you can approach it differently. You'll be guided to what you need to say or not say, or how you need to perceive the situation. So, for example, with this person in my life who's been bothering me, part of it is I just needed to see, like, the like sort of, I think that she's just uncomfortable in the social situation that we found ourselves in. And I just then felt compassion. I'm like, I know what it's like to feel that. So that's probably how you're feeling. And then in that moment, compassion can be extended. And then I can also know how I want to react or not react in that situation. Similarly, with that example, with an old coworker of mine, when I called in that prayer and I was able to see, okay, this really has to do with my own unworthiness. What it did is when I asked for that shift in perspective, it allowed me to see her with more love, because I saw that she's just like, her control and like her being so nippy of my stuff actually just makes her to feel safe, because she's just like, that controlling aspect of her makes her feel safe in the world. And in seeing that, it allowed me to have greater compassion toward her and not take so personally when she was kind of, going through my work. So I can't say for you what change in perspective you're going to have, but because you're in this event tonight, to be open and to be willing to see something differently is actually where then the miracle occurs, that whatever that shift in perspective is will occur for you. And to know also, with the energy of the Virgo still supporting us, Virgo is about healing ourselves so then we can help extend that love and compassion to others. It's the reason why we finished off with this aspect of it, of what's been triggering me, maybe because of whatever this Mars retrograde is, maybe just because of life, maybe it's just because of whatever. Seeing right now what's potent for you is showing you, where do I need to heal? What do I need to see differently so that I can ultimately be more compassionate and expend that kindness and that love to others? And so it's clearing and finding the love within you and then being able to extend it to others. And I think we're all being shown ways right now of where we get caught in our ego of it shouldn't be this way, or it should be this way, or whatever else. Healing comes from letting pieces of our ego start to be released. And our ego doesn't like that. But I promise you, and you can let me know at the next circle, when you call in that intention, what perspective shift happens. Like, that's why A Course in Miracles talks about miracles, because it is crazy when you're like, that's a miracle. I'm not triggered by this. Like, this is amazing. But that's why when we talk about like the change in perspective or the miracle or the magic, like that really is it. The second when you don't get bothered by something, or the second where they call it like where an ancient enemy becomes like a beloved foe. It's where you can finally extend compassion to someone who in the past has triggered you so much. So to tie everything forward from tonight, what you have is your intention. And your intention based on that meditation from when you were really deep in your body of what is it that I really want for myself right now. Then you had your I am statement based on that, and your 1 to 2 actions that you're going to take in the next new moon cycle, just to help yourself and support in feeling that way. The second thing that you were looking at was, what's your body really calling for right now? Because our bodies are all calling for this purification in whatever way that it is. And to remember that it goes purification, illumination, wisdom. So just stay in your purification lane, and on the other side of that will become greater clarity or love. Like, especially with all of you that set those intentions around greater self-love, our core essence is love. Like, think of babies, think of little kids, like our essence is love. So you doing the work of just being in the purification of whatever your body wants right now will actually naturally just lead to more love within you and more self, it's like you don't even need the affirmations of I am love, because you just feel it. This is how we build like true self-love, true like spiritual deep love from within, like the love of the universe is what they're talking about. So it comes from within. So the more that you're in the purification, it'll lead to this space of illumination, of love or worthiness, again, because like the core, your soul knows how worthy you are. It knows how loved you are. It knows how supported, it knows how powerful you are. So in this space, we like tap into that. And then from there, the wisdom comes of having actually experienced what that's like to have rooted into that type of knowing and trust and love from within, that you can't, we can't affirmation ourselves there. Unfortunately, we got to do the work of the purification and the release and doing the little gnarly bits in order to get there. So then the third part of it was looking at, aside from where are you being called to purify, looking at then where are you being called to purify your thoughts. And that will then come up from whatever's been triggered in you. And then see from there, based on this, what's been blocking you, and wisdom will come for you around what that is. Especially if it's a person, just because again, with our Virgo full moon or new moon vibes, it's a lot about how do we interact with our community and how do we nurture community. So it's often the people that we feel most triggered by are our biggest teachers to help us then be able to extend greater compassion, which is what Virgo really wants us to do. The last intention for tonight that you'll set for yourself is, again, we're just going to pull in meditation for our last moment of just really pulling back into wholeness, especially this time with like all the stuff that's happening all the time in the world and all the stuff that's happening every day, all the stuff that's happening collectively, and all the stuff that's happening personally, especially right now, just being really conscious. It's a really beautiful, beautiful exercise just to do just in meditation, especially at times where you're feeling scattered or where like you can't meditate, or even if you're having trouble meditate when it comes, especially all of you really committed to your movement practices, just setting an intention at the beginning of your movement practice. Let me call back toward any fragmented parts of myself. Let me call back my energy into wholeness right now. You can imagine just putting your hands back on your heart again, but it really works super well. And especially at times where we're scattered, sometimes it's like we just picked up so much stuff that's not ours, or we've just like accidentally left pieces of our energy other places. So you, like a magnet, remember you are energy. So you can call back your energy back into wholeness. And Virgo, Virgin, woman unto herself, really wants us to do that so that we can be really rooted with the earth, really like in ourselves. I love, it was Sarah who was like, I'm feeling called just to like stand up straighter. It's very like what good Virgo vibes. So that's the last thing that we'll talk about for tonight, calling myself back into wholeness. So now where you are, we'll get you to close your eyes for just a moment before we go into our final meditation. Two quick things for those of you who are into the body purification vibes. On Sunday we have the pocket, which is some of you are already coming to, which is great, but we're going to be purifying the body and your energy a lot on that. So that's like, I'm going to lead a yoga practice and some breath work and meditations and other energetic clearing things to really purify the body, the mind, and the soul. So we're kind of going to dive more deeply into this. So that's a 3-hour shindig on Sunday. And the other thing is, just as an aside, because the next circle is going to be on October 2nd for those of you who want to know the dates ahead of time. And October 1st, because that's the full moon in Aries, and that's going to be a juicy one because, again, it corresponds with the new moon that we had right at the time when everyone was like, what the fuck is going on, So, like, I just think it's going to be so cool. And then the last thing is that I'm going to be doing that same week for those of you who are manifesting romance. I'm going to be doing 3 workshops, just free workshops, because I just want to share all this stuff on the last 3 days of, so September 28th, 29th, and 30th. So in tomorrow, you guys will get an email from me, but I'll link to all of that stuff. So if your intentions were around self-love, it's just one of the workshops is going to be on self-love. So that would be a cool one to check out too. And those ones are free. So with that being said, we will now enter into our last meditation. So close your eyes. Take a big breath in through your nose. Exhale, release. Inhale. And exhale, release. I want you just to clap your hands once. And then clap your hands twice. Clap your hands once. Clap your hands twice. Clap your hands once. Clap your hands twice. Take your hands, rub them really fast. Then right hand goes onto your heart. Left hand is placed on top of your heart. Saying to yourself, I'm calling back my wholeness. I'm calling back my power. I'm calling back my worthiness. I need not try to become love, for I already am. But I'm ready to purify and release my blocks to love. I'm ready to release all blocks to love. I'm ready to release all blocks to wholeness. And for a second, just feeling yourself here in your body. Feeling grateful for having taken this time tonight to reconnect with your own energy. Take this time that's just for you. As you heal yourself, as you become even more compassionate and loving, you help heal everyone around you and all of the world. Remembering that as the collective has so much to heal right now, that it always starts with you. So start here. Saying to yourself, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Going back now to your I am statement. I am love, or I am power, or I am unconditionally accepted. Saying it to yourself now 3 times in your mind. Making a wish that every woman on the call tonight, or who views this call, feels loved, feels supported, and comes back into wholeness with herself too. Staying right here where you are, you can either continue to meditate here, just dwell in this space of sweetness with yourself, and I'll slowly leave you all here in this gooey place, and I'll see you soon.